You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Welcome to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. And today, I want to have a conversation about me potentially moving back to the South. So, if you know anything about me, you know I am a girl. I am from Baltimore, Baltimore raised, Baltimore realist, love home. But for the past couple of years, I've really been trying to figure out where I want to place roots down, where I possibly want to buy a home. I wouldn't say build a family because I don't feel like I'm in a relationship to build a family. But as I get older, I'm definitely thinking about where I want to place roots down and what would be easier for me. I had fantasies of moving to like New York or Philly region, but as I as I as I go forth in my 30s and get closer to my 40s, something that I really want space. I really want to get the bang for my buck. And while New York is great, and I think it's a great experience to live and to be in that fast paced culture. And especially for me as a lawyer, just being in that market, being able to make the kind of money that I would make up there. I'm about having a life of ease, and moving to the South for me, at least economically, it presents the opportunity for me to be able to own a property, for me to be able to get a fair price for the property, and just for me to just live comfortably and just have the things that I'm accustomed to. Like for the 4 years that I was living in Chicago, at least for the last two of them, even though Chicago was a big city, there you got a lot more for your money in Chicago. And right now I live in the DMV area, and the DMV area is definitely expensive. It's probably just as expensive as New York. But I found a particular area where I'm able to make my money work for all intents and purposes. I'm not living in the type of apartment that I would want to live in, but I've been looking around, and for what I make now, it's something that's doable. I don't know about owning property, particularly in this part of Virginia, but it's getting me where I need to be right now. But me being a young black professional, moving to the South is something that's very attractive for me. I want to be able to parlay, my position and my status into building a comfortable life for myself. But with me also being a trans person, I really have hesitation moving to the South because, as we all know, being in the South, while there are a lot of advantages for me as a black person economic wise, as far as the trans thing and the queer thing, the South is not the friendliest. And first, let me say this. This is not to say that I just can't live in the South and they're anti-LGBT or black trans women aren't existing and aren't thriving down there. That's not to say that. I have plenty of sisters and brothers and family down there that are definitely down there doing their things and living their best lives. And despite all of that, there is a lot of opportunity to thrive down there. But for me, being a girl coming from coming from living in cities where I can like literally just walk down the street or make an appointment and I can go to a healthcare place where they're going to holistically serve me as a black trans woman. So, being from Baltimore, I'm talking about Chase Bruxton. Here in DC, I'm talking about Whitman Walker. And then when I lived in Howard Brown, lived in Chicago, I went to Howard Brown. Me being, and let me also be clear, I know Baltimore is technically not the North. We're really considered mid-Atlantic, but Baltimore is technically still in the South because it is below the Mason-Dixon line. But for all intents and purposes, it's not as south as like the deep South, right? So it's not Richmond, it's not in Charlotte, just to put that out there. But Baltimore and DC are north enough to just have these systems where I know I can go to a place where my medical needs can be served as a trans woman. I don't feel like I have to go out of my way to get healthcare services. And as somebody that is a cancer survivor, as somebody that whose life is really intertwined with medical services, whether it be for my physical and mental, that's something that's important for me. That I personally don't feel like the the areas that I want to move into the South are as advanced. And it's a convenience, and it's a comfort that I just struggle with, knowing that if I move to the, and let me be, so the places that I'm thinking about relocating in the South, Atlanta is definitely on my mind. Houston, Texas is definitely on my mind. Maybe Orlando is somewhere on my mind, and I don't know. It's just it's just that trade off. Like I will be getting one thing, but I will be giving up something else, and it's just something so convenient. Where as dysfunctional as some of these LGBTQ orgs are, at the end of the day, I just know that they're there, and I know that if something's wrong, I can go there and get seen. I also know I'm living in these states, knowing that they do have pro LGBTQ policies, that if something goes wrong, I have some type of law to fall back on for some type of resource. Not saying that just because you have these laws in the states that everybody's going to act right, but it is a sense of comfort that I know is there, that I know for sure is not in like a Georgia or a Texas or a Florida. So and also I just feel like I have this fear of living in the South, that something bad is going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. It's something that I would have to work through, and I don't want it to sound crazy, but it's just something that I think about. And technically, I live in Virginia now, which is technically a southern state, but I'm in like Northern Virginia, which is way different from like Southern Virginia or Southwestern Virginia or Southeastern Virginia. It's definitely like very developed up here, so it doesn't feel like you're in like the heart of Virginia. But child, they just elected a Republican governor, so we're going to see how long it takes for them to roll back all of the progressions that were made under two Democratic governors. But I say that to say I'm at that place where I'm ready to start thinking about putting roots somewhere, and settling down somewhere that's affordable and that I can do a lot. And the South is very attractive, and I've been monitoring how like there's been like a reverse migration of a lot of black people that are like fleeing like northern cities to go back to the South because of just the opportunities that are available when you have a lower cost of living and you have more space to do stuff. And I definitely want to be in that number, but of course my transness and my queerness complicate things. And for me, I'm always thinking about convenience. I'm always thinking about safety, and then I will be moving. Like I have family in the South, but I will be relocating, by myself, and I'm also thinking about those systems and those institutions that I can rely on, for me to be a part of this community. I'm very hopeful that with all the craziness going on, that I will live in the time where I get to see a Stacey Abrams as governor. I get to see a Democratic governor as Florida. I get to see a Beto O'Rourke, even though I have to brush up on what exactly are his politics, but that we do get to see Democratic leadership in these southern states, because I'm sure, just like we see in what we see in the South is that like while the states are red and a lot of the policies are red, a lot of these cities are blue. So you know, Atlanta is a Democratic city, Houston is a Democratic city, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio are Democratic cities, Orlando is a Democratic city. So I'm hoping that we live in a time where the voting rights aren't suppressed enough where we can see Democratic leadership, so that we can see even deeper areas in the South take on some of these more progressive stances, because that would give me more confidence to move down there. And I definitely have to give a shout out to my LGBTQ fam, especially my trans family that are from the South, that are still living in the South, and that are putting in a lot of the work to make the South more livable. Not just for me to relocate down there, but for the people that are already living down there. Even in Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee, like I can't knock the trans folks that are from there and that are live down there and that are doing everything they can, risking their anonymity to do the work to shift the culture in the South so that they can have the things that like we have in the North and in the Midwest that makes that region more livable for everybody. But I want to move too, bitch. I want to have a house too. I want to have land or maybe have a condo, but I just want to, for me as a girl coming from a state where I could get my name changed with no hesitation. I don't have to list my birth name or my dead name on my birth certificate along with my new name. It's just my name. In a state where I don't have to prove that I've had a sex change to change my gender marker on my documents. It's kind of hard to leave an area that offers those type of protections, no matter how expensive it is, because you know you can always rely on it. So for me, being somebody that comes from the Mid Atlantic and taking a chance in the South, that's a big give up for me, and I just want to know that I'm making the best decisions for me, especially when it comes to where I live, and especially when it comes like, can I get a job? Like, how easy is it going to be for me to get a job if I'm not able to work for myself and I do have to get out here? How is the workforce? Am I going to have to go back into being stealth? Can I be openly trans in the South? Like, these are the things that are constantly on my mind as I'm just trying to step my pussy up, as you will, looking into home ownership, getting a home. I don't know. I don't have all of the answers. Maybe DC or Northern Virginia is as far south as I'll go, but I don't want to let my fear of the South, and I shouldn't be that afraid of the South, because I definitely have family in the South and I have my own personal history of the South. But I want to come up too, but I just want to be safe to do so. But these are my thoughts on this topic. If you have any thoughts or responses to this topic, please be sure to leave a voicemail on my Anchor page, and I might replay your response in my next show. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.